Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. This is Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR. I'm joined this morning by two guests, but before I introduce them and we get going with that, I want to let everyone know that today's Member Focus Monday is sponsored by Energy Ogre. With more people at home right now, electricity bills are sure to go up. You can check to see how you can save money on their savings calculator on their website. So be sure to check that out and see how much money you could save. And thank you so much, Energy Ogre, for sponsoring today's Member Focus Monday. So I'm actually joined this morning by two returning guests, Grant Harpold and Chance Brown. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me virtually.
I feel appropriately socially distanced from you. So
Good. So before we get started, if you both could just quickly introduce yourselves for our members in case they don't know who you are for some reason.
Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah, I'm
Save
Grant.
money on their savings calculator. Sorry about
What was
that.
that? I'm Grant Harpold, legal counsel for HAR, lawyer for 30 plus years.
And then I am Chance Brown. I'm the broker owner of CB&A Realtors here in Houston, and privileged to serve HAR as a member of the board of directors and as a trustee to TreePack and as an instructor as well.
Yes, and thank you for that, and thank you both for joining me. So we have a lot to talk about. We have some legal questions that have come up in the last week, so that's why we have you here, Grant. We also just have a lot of questions about how do we keep our business going? How do we run a business, whether it just be from a broker standpoint, from an agent standpoint? So that's why we have you both on. And then once we've kind of wrapped up this interview, I will actually stay on to do a live demonstration with you guys, how to do a virtual open house, everything from scheduling it to how long it should be, to what platforms you should use and what equipment you should use. So be sure to stay for that at the end. Let's go ahead and get right into the questions. And if you're watching and if you have a question, type it in and I'll be checking that periodically. So Grant, this question is for you. Obviously, we put out a new rule which you can explain, or we put out some information about open houses which you can explain to our members. But the question we've been hearing is, are open houses banned? Are we allowed to do open houses at this point?
You're still allowed to do open houses. HAR.com simply just took away that, in the MLS, took away that vehicle to allow you to set it up through the MLS system and display it on HAR.com. That's not available to do it, but you can still, between discussing that issue with your seller, you can still perform open houses. That's something that we, HAR or HRIS, cannot control.
Okay, very good. So to that point, if I am hosting an open house or I am showing a home, can agents and consumers be required to wear masks and gloves, just like similar to how we sometimes wear booties or things like that?
I think, again, that's something that the listing agent should discuss with the seller as to how they want to affect that. And that's if that's what they think is in the best interest of them and the public, then do it. So it's just kind of a case by case situation, I believe.
Okay, very good. So Chance, this question is for you. I know that you run a pretty tech savvy brokerage. We're doing this on video. Video, we were saying before we got started, is something we've been preaching for a decade now. You've really, gotten your brokerage going with that years ago. Since you already have a lot of that in place, how are you continuing to run your business while keeping everybody's health, safety in mind and maintaining social distancing?
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It only took a plague for us to get what we've been hammering on people for a decade to do. So yes, we are really focused on transitioning everything to as much video as we possibly can right now. We are transitioning people into how to use Zoom, how to use Skype, how to use FaceTime, things like that. There's a lot of things that an agent can do during this time virtually that equal. I mean, it's the same thing, if not more convenient to the person that is in their audience. We're talking about doing first-time home buyer seminars. We're talking about doing investment property seminars and doing them all through Zoom. I know we've been doing virtual happy hours I know a lot of our agents have been doing it with their spheres, just keeping in touch with people and trying to keep that connection in place for a little bit of humanity during a time when things seem to be, the social distancing seems to be taking some of that away.
Okay. So, have you taken any steps or measures to ensure, because of course your agents are all independent contractors, to ensure that they're keeping themselves safe? Are you doing anything with that?
I mean, other than just encouraging them to follow CDC rules, to follow Texas Realtors guidance on this, they have their coronavirus page up and running. So does NAR, and to take a look at those things, to have very candid conversations with their clientele about these are the things that we need to do in order to keep safe. That's really about all that we can do. We're not prohibiting people from trying to get out there and make a living, especially in these times. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody stays safe, washes hands. It's interesting that Christine and I were actually joking about this last week. Is the last 4 or 5 meetings I've been in, the last thing that's been said before everybody has signed off is, "Don't forget to wash your hands." And just how weird that is from 10 days ago when we're all shaking hands and hugging, and now we're like, "Don't touch me and go wash your hands."
Exactly. So just another question. You mentioned the happy hour, the virtual happy hour that you had. Obviously, that had to be a great morale booster. Have you done anything else like that to kind of boost morale in this, stressful time?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a pretty active internal Facebook page, and so there's a lot of communication going on there. I've been going live every evening just to give updates of what we know, what we don't know, because there's so much misinformation being put out on the internet right now, just fake news everywhere and stuff like that. And so we're really trying to make sure that we get the most appropriate and reliable information into the hands of our agents moving forward. And so communication has been the key. Keeping people connected, keeping people out there talking, as opposed to being in isolation, and just really pushing the fact that we want to be the reliable source of information for our audience, and not be spreading rumors and not be putting things out there that aren't verified and aren't true. We want to be the people that our audience comes to for things that they can count on.
And you want to be the person that your agents come to, and that's great. So it sounds like you guys have a company Facebook group, which I know a lot of brokerages have, and you're going live within that group every day just to give an update. So that's great, constant communication.
That's the key.
Very good. Another question for Chance, and I promise I'm going to get back to you, Grant. Have you had any sellers that don't want their home shown at this point, maybe out of fear?
Yes, absolutely, we have. And like I said, we're having this conversation with all of our clients about the risks associated with letting people in their home, what we can do to mitigate those risks, and whether or not they want to continue. And so for some of our elderly and immunocompromised clients, they've shut it down, and so we're totally okay with that.
Very good. So if you're just tuning in, I'm joined by AHR Legal Counsel Grant Harpold and Houston broker Chance Brown. They're discussing legal questions. Obviously, Grant's taken all our legal questions that have arisen over the last week or so. Chance runs a pretty successful tech-savvy brokerage, and they've been doing some really great things to keep their business going amidst the coronavirus pandemic. So if you have questions for either of them, type them into the comments. Also, if you did miss the announcement, at the end of this, once we're done with the interview portion, I will do a live demonstration on how to run a virtual open house, everything from scheduling it to where to post it, how long it should be, tools you should use. So stay tuned for that. Grant, we did just have an update on this, even from the moment I wrote the question. But a question I'm seeing a lot from our members prior to this was, will HAR be creating any coronavirus disclosures or addendums?
Well, we haven't yet. Typically, we can do that, and we do create forms. We look to TR, Texas Realtors, to see what they may be creating, and I have not heard anything being created in that regard. Specifically on the current seller disclosure, there is a question that would cover that, meaning that if you go to if you go to Section 8, there still is that question: any condition on the property which materially affects the health or safety of an individual, yes or no? And so there is that question that exists to the extent it's the virus is applicable to a certain property. But to answer your question, no, not aware of any form being developed specifically on that type of disclosure.
Okay, so I do see a couple questions about that. Dana asked if you could explain how to communicate the COVID addendum to sellers.
Well, the new I'm presuming the new addendum to delay a closing. So I mean, you can already do that without that addendum. I mean, you can amend the contract and change the closing day without giving any reason if the parties agree. Same thing on this new addendum from TR. It still requires both parties to agree, but it's simply just taking, specific narrowing down the reason to the virus as an issue for the delay. And so, that could help the seller or it could help the buyer, depending on who might need that. So it's certainly something that you would think the parties could agree to, but again, it's dependent upon the parties. And you, like I said, you can use that addendum, or you could simply use the form that exists currently for an amendment to the contract.
Very good. One more question that came in from Mario regarding the COVID-19 addendum. What happens if the seller or the seller's agent does not want to adhere to the changes?
Well, then you still rely on the contract you have. And so, there's other ways to maybe get to the closing. I mean, if it's a closing issue, meaning that somebody maybe has a virus and can't make it to closing, you can maybe get a power of attorney. I spoke to a title company representative yesterday and again this morning. The way around an issue that may arise is get a specific power of attorney to have somebody specifically ordained, if you will, to sign the closing papers on your behalf.
Okay.
And I'm sure the title company has that form or can come up with that form, or a lawyer can. And it's not an unheard of situation to use a power of attorney for situations like this. And so that would be, if you're stuck with the contract you have, then start thinking alternatively, how do I get my person or get whatever it is done in order to meet the closing date? And power of attorney may be the way to do it, depending if it's an issue of the person not being able to be present at closing.
Okay.
And Christina, if I could just jump.
Come in the Platinum subscriber group. Can title companies ask agents not to attend closings?
Yes. In fact, I'm glad you said that. The title company person I spoke to said right now for a closing, it's only essential people, and that would mean whoever has to sign the documents.
Signers, right?
Yes.
Very good.
Which is making for some pretty hilarious social media posts of the clients in the closing room signing with their agent outside the window with their face up against the window, social distance closings. It's pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, and I think now they can all do virtual closings in a sense that nobody may be in the room except for whoever's signing, and not even maybe the closing agent. Maybe there's some instructions, and of course there's where you need to sign, and them watching through the window to make sure it's going appropriately. So I mean, they're trying to adjust to the situation, but I think that issue is capable of being handled by the title company as far as limiting the exposure or the social distancing at a closing.
Very good. Deborah, I do see your question, and I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. It's a question about, is real estate considered essential? So we'll get to that question in just a little bit. Chance, I have a question for you. Another one that I saw pop up in our Platinum subscriber Facebook group is, how are you guys handling option period checks and closings?
So the real easy question is on closings, however the title company is telling us. Honestly, again, trying to make sure that everybody stays safe and stays at a social distance and all of that stuff. Most of the title companies that we are working with have gone to, like Grant said, essential personnel only. A lot of their processors and people like that are working from home, and so you've even with the title company staff, you have a minimal number of people that are actually in the office, and so that's kind of dictated by them. For option money, we still have some people that are hand delivering it. We are encouraging electronic delivery, and just as long as they get a receipt. So we're talking Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, tools like that to deliver directly to the seller, and just get a receipt that it's been delivered.
Okay, very good. I see there's a home builder question for Grant, and I also have a home builder question for Chance. So I'll ask Will's question really quick. What happens if a builder is not willing to help by extending the contract? They have said they want to charge my buyer $500 per day if we don't close on time, and someone else said this was a really good question. They have a similar issue.
Well, again, it goes back to what the contract said. If the contract says they can charge $500 a day, that seems overbearing and not very consumer friendly. I'd be surprised if that exists, or even is enforceable for that matter. But otherwise, as far as extending the closing or changing the contract in any other way, it still requires both parties to sign off on it. And so, I don't know what else, they, other than talking back and forth and having a discussion. I mean, you are stuck to the contract. And, maybe at that point, if they can't seem to get it worked out, maybe get some lawyers involved to kind of explain, the risk of either party not either forgiving a little bit or not following the contract.
Okay. So my home builder question for you, Chance, we've seen some home builders have closed their model homes and sales centers. Are you advising your agents to stop showing at this point?
We are not.
Okay.
We are just advising them to be safe and smart. A lot of the builders that we work with have gone to, you can still come, but you have to have an appointment. And they're taking precautionary measures as well. So no, we're not encouraging our agents to do anything that's going to cost them money at this point.
Okay. And again, this is as of today, the 23rd at 9:17 a.m. All of this could change, which kind of leads to the question that Deborah was asking. Will real estate be an essential service if a shelter in place is enacted?
Good question. I think we would argue that, finding a place to live and is essential. I mean, whether you need to move out for whatever reason or need to move somewhere else, or financially you have to downsize now, or whatever the situation may be, I would think that would be essential service, that is finding a place to live. And so we looked at what Dallas County just did yesterday, and we could not tell from the press release that essential service would include real estate services. So presumably if something becomes Harris County or statewide through the governor's office, that would include real estate, but we don't know for sure. And based on what Dallas just did, it didn't look like it was included in their essential service definition.
Okay.
Yeah. Look around the country, it varies all over.
Right.
Different states have done different things. Different counties have done different things. So there's nothing to point at and say this is how it should be done.
Okay. Very good point. So we'll see what happens, I guess, with that one.
Yeah.
Another question that I've seen a lot of, will realtors qualify for government assistance?
I haven't seen, realtors or any certain industry being carved out specifically, or any individual within an industry. I'm guessing there won't be a specific carve out for realtors. It would just be based on your financial situation or condition, or maybe it's just uniformly across the board. That's what's still being discussed in Washington right now.
Okay. So a little bit of a different topic here, and this is not necessarily coronavirus specific, but with using real estate term here, coronavirus adjacent. We've seen a rise in activity from the foot fetish creep, as we call him, because he's home quarantined. What should realtors do if they're contacted by him?
Well, I think kind of what when this kind of flared up in the past is, contact law enforcement, whether it be your local sheriff or constable or HPD or wherever you live, the different layers of law enforcement service that you can contact and file a report, make a report, see if they can get involved. Maybe things are slow right now. Maybe they could get involved right now. I don't know, but I think it's still, fundamentally, to get maybe something done effectively is to get law enforcement involved.
Okay. Common question here: will Trek be offering any extensions on deadlines for getting your CE done?
I checked yesterday on the TAR FAQs, and they have a link to Trek FAQs, and Trek has, at least yesterday, said they haven't done anything or will be doing anything currently. So I guess it remains to be seen as far as I could tell.
Okay. Also, we do have a 35% off that I want to mention through our partnership with the CE shop. If you go to the HAR education website, har.com/edu, search for online classes, you can take any of the classes with the CE shop and use the code HAR35, and you can actually save 35%. So if you are one of those people who are trying to get your CE done maybe by the end of this month or by the end of April, that is an option that can actually save you a little bit of money too. What advice do you have for brokers and agents in just navigating these challenging times? I'll toss this one to Chance.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if there's a to-do list, if you will, during these times, if we're not out showing, we're not out doing a lot of the activities that we normally would be, and we're, especially if a shelter-in-place order or something like that ends up happening, our advice to our agents is this. Number one, let's reach out to our community. Let's reach out to the people in our database. If you're not using a CRM, now's a great time to incorporate one. And let's just touch base with our spheres and make sure that everybody's okay. Make sure that they don't need anything. There's a lot of things that are going to happen with this that we can't control, but the things that we can control are the things that we should really use to help build our business. So when we come out of this, we're actually stronger. Things like getting your continuing education using the HAR discount code at CE Shop. Great. Take this time to learn. Take this time to get better at your craft. Practice your scripting. Practice your dialogues that you have with your clients. Organize your business. Do things like that instead of watching Tiger King on Netflix. I don't know what Tiger King is, but I see it on Facebook all the time. And then I will just continue to reiterate the point. Let's be the voice. The realtor community should be the voice of calm and the voice of reason. It should be the voice of reliable, verifiable information, not rumor and hearsay, in our communities, so that our people come to us for that resource.
Okay. Thank you for that, Chance. And also, you didn't mention this, but I'll mention it for you. You are teaching a virtual class coming up, aren't you?
I am teaching a virtual class on Monday, a week from today. Get your military relocation professional designation. But HAR has taken a lot of their classes online, so there's no excuse that you can't jump in and get some education while you're at home.
Very good.
If your kids are being homeschooled, you can be homeschooled too.
Very good. So I was looking through the questions, a lot of questions on here. Some of you are kind of answering each other, so that's really helpful because obviously we only have so much time. Susan said, I just wanted to know how to do virtual open houses in this special time. We're about to get to that, Susan. Chance, Grant, do you have anything else for our members before we sign off with you?
I would just echo what Chance said, and just, as a community, as a state, as a country, I mean, we've been through a lot of things historically, and overcome a lot of things. And I would stay positive. We're going to get through this. We're going to look back at this and just be another historical event that we overcame. And so just don't focus so much on the circumstances as they sit right in front of us, and just trust that everything will work out and things will keep going and pick back up and be back to normal at some point.
Yeah. And there was one other thing I would just add is be patient. Take a deep breath before you respond to things. As people stay inside and especially stay around their children for extended periods of time, tempers will flare and nerves will get shot, all of that. So just take a deep breath before you respond to anything online and just be the voice of calm.
I really appreciate you guys saying that. So I do see there were a lot more questions that have come in for both of you. Some of them are a little more specific. So I'm going to ask you both after this is wrapped up to kind of just go check the comments section. If there's any questions that you can answer for us, that'd be helpful. I will also do the same. Anything that I can answer on HAR's behalf, I'll definitely answer those questions because I want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered. There was somebody saying, please address the days on market question. I didn't actually see that question. There's so many coming through. So we'll take a look at that and we'll make sure to answer it after this is wrapped up. So Grant, Chance, thank you again so much for joining me this morning. Don't sign off, everyone, because now is the part where I'm going to get into showing you guys about hosting a virtual open house. But for Grant and Chance, we're going to go ahead and get you guys off. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and stay healthy.
All right.
And wash your hands.
Stay
Alrighty.
safe.
See ya.
So now we are going to, let me get these off of me. Now we're going to get into the virtual open house portion of this. This will be a snippet of what I typically teach in some of our social media boot camps. So if you've never taken that class before, it's not one that we can host virtually. So be on the lookout for the May and June dates as we start to get some classes back going. There's just like you have your regular open houses, there's simple steps from scheduling it to marketing it to hosting it, and then what you do after the fact. So I'm going to go through all of those steps with you guys. If you've never held a virtual open house, this is something that I think will definitely benefit your business. You can get in front of a lot more people than the people that would typically attend an open house. I'm sure some of you watching have hosted an open house before that nobody showed up for. You don't have to admit it, but I know it happens. So I guarantee you, if you are hosting a virtual open house, you will at least get one viewer, probably a lot more. Before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that today's Member Focus Monday is sponsored by Energy Ogre. With more of us working from home, your electricity bills are bound to go up, especially with those kids home too. Now's the time to look for a way to cut costs. So go check out their savings calculator on their website to find out how much money that you could save with Energy Ogre. And thank you again, Energy Ogre, for sponsoring. So let's go ahead and get into it. So scheduling the open house. For best visibility, I would recommend scheduling or planning to host your virtual open house on the platform that you get the most engagement on. For a lot of you, that will be Facebook. For some of you, that might be Instagram. If you don't know how to do this, I'll show you in just a little bit. You can do this from a Facebook business page. You can also do it from a Facebook personal page. You can also do it from Instagram, like I said. So different places that you can host your open house. From a Facebook business page, you can actually go in and schedule a live if you want to go live. And I would recommend that you guys go live when you do this. That is going to get you the most visibility. Live video does typically win the algorithm, if you will. So if you want the most visibility, live is best. Now, obviously, there's a first time for everything. So if you've never gone live, this is going to be the time to try it. But like I said, from a business page, you can actually schedule those in advance. I can go in and say, tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm going to go live, or tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm going to go live. So I can actually schedule a live in advance on a business page. You can't do this on a personal page or on Instagram, so you would need to create some sort of graphic, and we have some examples of graphics that we can show you. Obviously, this is one that we use for Member Focus Monday, and this is actually the example that I use on Instagram. So I want to cross-promote my live on every platform and make sure that people know where this is. So even though this is posted on Instagram, it says that it's on Facebook. I tell people to go to Facebook, and I even have the link there at the bottom for people to know it's not live here on Instagram, it's live on Facebook. So schedule it, let people know when it's going to be taking place, because you're going to get people ready to watch it if they know it's coming, okay? Especially now with so many people home from work and school, they're looking for something to do. They're bored. So here's another example. This was actually lent to us by Jennifer Wahab. So she actually held a virtual open house this weekend, and this is what she used to promote that open house ahead of time. So promote the open house ahead of time, schedule it just like you would schedule it, in the MLS. So next, it's going to be time to market the open house. When it comes time to marketing the open house, it's going to be, again, very similar to how you market an open house now, but you're leading people to the virtual open house instead of to a street address. Now, HAR is actually working on a platform to make all of this a lot easier for you. So be on the lookout for that. Obviously, we're going to keep doing Member Focus Monday, and I will be sure to let you guys know whenever that is available. But for now, the easiest way to do this is to notate the time, the date of the open house in the private and public remarks in Matrix. Okay. Again, we're working internally to make that a little bit easier for you, but for now, notate the time and the date and the location of your virtual open house in the public and private remarks. And again, what I mean by the location is give them a URL. Go to facebook.com/whatever your URL is. Okay. So you're going to market it, again, similarly to how you market any other open houses. You're going to put it on all your social media platforms. If you use Nextdoor, put it in Nextdoor. If you send emails out, send emails out. But also, you want to schedule an event on Facebook. Now, again, this could be done from a Facebook personal page or from a Facebook business page. Either way works. But you want to schedule that event and then invite people to that event. Because, again, if you schedule the event, maybe a few people see it. If you invite people, you're going to guarantee that you get some visibility on it. So invite people to the event. Now, do I want to invite my entire friend list of thousands of people? Well, maybe not necessarily, but I would target specific people to invite. Invite your current clients. Invite the people that are your most valuable referrers, your biggest cheerleaders, right? Invite other realtors in your area, especially other realtors that you know maybe sell in that same subdivision. Invite them to your virtual open house so that you can get some visibility on there, okay? And again, make it easy for people when you are marketing that open house. Don't just say, I'm going to be going live. Give them a URL. Tell them exactly where to go, okay? So now it's time to host the open house. And this, I think, for most people will be the most difficult, especially if you've put off video until now. So the first thing, you have to start on time. If you say your open house is going to start at 12 noon, you better start at 12 noon because you've gotten people excited about it. They've sat down, they're ready to watch, they're ready to see what you're going to do, and it's 12:10 and you haven't started. Well, they might get a little frustrated, they might go away, and they might not come back for your next one. So really, really crucial, you have to start on time. For example, Member Focus Monday, we start every Monday at 9 a.m. If it is 9:01 and we haven't started, we start getting messages from you guys. Hey, why haven't you started? What's going on? Is something wrong? Are we not having one today? So people expect you to start on time, so make sure you start on time. And also, it's just kind of a respect thing. You're asking them to come join, so make sure you're starting on time. Now, the way you hold the phone will depend on what platform you're using, and most people will do this from a phone. So the way you hold the phone will depend on what platform you're using. Holding it vertically, up and down like this. This will be great if you are using Instagram specifically, if you're going live on Instagram. Now on Facebook, you can actually do either. You can do vertical or horizontal. Either way works. It's just completely up to you. And also, if you plan to repurpose this video, keep that in mind. So let's say I'm going live on Facebook and I'm going to repurpose this video and put it on IGTV, Instagram TV. Well, I want to make sure it's going to be vertical because that's what IGTV likes, right? But maybe I'm going to use this, repurpose it, and put it up on my YouTube channel. Well, then you want to go horizontal because that's what YouTube likes. So either way works. It just depends on what platform you're using, and think about if you're going to be repurposing it, what that platform likes as well. All right, so how do we do this on Facebook and on Instagram? So on Facebook, I'm actually going to show you guys on the camera. On Facebook, when you go to create a post, you will actually see it says live right there. So it might be hard to see, but it says live right there. I hit the live button, and you guys are going to get to see a little bit of the studio here. But I hit the live button, and it's going to have me go ahead and write a description. I start writing my caption. And then when I'm ready, I'll just hit start live video. So it's very easy to do on Facebook. On Instagram, this is one that some people may have not done yet, so I want to make sure you know how to do it. On Instagram, you'll see that camera in the top left-hand corner of your screen. You'll tap on that. Now the default is normal for you to see stories, but you're going to scroll all the way over to the left, and you'll see where it says live on Instagram. So I hit that button and now I will have gone live on Instagram. So starting it off, hitting those buttons, not difficult to do. It's just important to know where to do this. Also, really important that you are looking in the right spot on your phone when you're talking to them. If you are talking to people on Facebook or on Instagram, the tendency is to look here, to look at yourself in the viewfinder. You don't want to do that because there's a big difference between looking at the lens and looking down at yourself, and people notice that, people can see that. So as you guys are doing this, it might be weird, it might seem funny to do this, but make sure you're looking at the lens. Find the lens on your phone and make sure you look at the lens so it looks like you're looking right at them versus looking down at yourself, okay? So make sure you're looking in the right spot. Look at the lens. Also, what tools can you be using? There's a lot of different tools out there that you guys can use. Some of you may own a gimbal or a stabilizer of some kind. This would be the time to pull it out and use it. Even something simple as, I have this little thing here called a love handle. There's little loopies, there's pop sockets, even something like this helps. Because instead of me having to hold the phone and potentially start shaking, I can just kind of put my fingers in there and hold it very comfortably and I don't shake. So a lot of different tools you could use. Selfie sticks are another great thing you can use, but your arm will eventually get tired, so make sure the selfie stick is long enough to where you can kind of mount it on your leg or something. Even using, tripods is great, but just remember a tripod will be stabilized in one spot. It can't really move around the house, okay? So link the video. For live video, a minimum of 10 minutes is recommended. Member Focus Monday, we've gone a little bit over today, but typically we keep it around 30 minutes. We try not to exceed 45 minutes, and there's a reason for that. If a video is shorter than 10 minutes, you'll see that it won't get as much visibility for a live video. It might seem strange because you're thinking, well, they're not going to stop to watch me for that long, but if you've pre-promoted it, you've told people, sit down, get ready, get your coffee and walk through this open house with me, they're going to want to do that. They will sit there with you. So a minimum of 10 minutes, you can actually go up to 90 minutes. You might not need to go that long, but you can. So a minimum of 10 minutes. Now also remember to pause for questions. I haven't done it yet in this part because I want to get through everything and I might have already answered some of your questions, but you'll notice when I do Member Focus Monday, I do check periodically for the questions because you want to see what people are saying. If you're showing them the kitchen and they have a question, oh, go back, I want to see that granite one more time, you want to make sure that you're addressing that and you're getting that live engagement and engaging them back, okay? And actually when you're doing it on the phone, if you can see, the live questions appear right there. So it's really easy as you're doing it, you can see the live questions popping up, okay? So we actually had some realtors host virtual open houses this weekend. A few of you invited me to your virtual open houses and I went along there with you. And I actually did have 2 volunteers to let me show a little bit of what they did. So Jennifer Wahab and Kat Robinson, thank you both. We're actually going to take a look at what they did this weekend with their virtual open houses. So let's take a look at this video and don't tune away because I do have some more tips after we take a look at this video.
Hey everybody, it's Jennifer and I'm here today in one of our newest listings and we are doing a virtual open house. So what is a virtual open house, you might ask? Well, it means that you can stay home in your PJs, don't have to get out of your car, and we're going to show you around our newest listing and then have a watch party. So if you have comments or you have questions or anything, you can just type them in and we'll reply right back to you. And let's take a look around our newest house that just hit the market.
Okay, let's walk through. So we're gonna start off on the second level, which is where the main living is. So you have a travertine backsplash with undermount lighting, which really enhances your experience as a cook. And then here's your living room with, oh, what is this? Beautiful views of the water. I love this. So as soon as you walk out, wow, look at that, it's perfect. Here's the front of the house. So all of the homes were built with stucco and stone elevations, and this has just been recently sealed and is ready to go. Low maintenance, is what I'm all about.
So thank you again to Jennifer and to Kat for letting me use that to show some examples for our members. It's really important for you guys to see that you will not be alone. A lot of realtors are doing this. Like I said, I saw so many realtors hosting virtual open houses this weekend and doing virtual showings, if you will, by going live or just posting a video. So this is something really that you should be looking into. Now, step 4 is a crucial step that a lot of people forget about or skip, and that is post promotion of the virtual open house. So once the open house is over, the live is over, you actually have some options. You have the option to download the video. You'll see a little arrow pointing down that you can download the video to your device. This is a really important step if you plan to repurpose the video. So let's say I'm going to take it and put it on my IGTV on Instagram, or I'm going to take it and move it over to YouTube. It's important to go ahead and download that video file. If you forget this step, you can always go back and do it later, but it's just a great habit to just download it right away so that you have it. Then you'll see 2 options at the bottom: to post the video or to delete the video. Do not hit delete. Let's just say you hosted your virtual open house and you had 10 viewers. That's great, but you want a lot more than that. Let's maybe multiply that times 10, right? So you want to post the video because you will get the most views after the video has posted. So I actually saw a question pop up. Will this be available to watch afterwards? Yes, it will, because that's exactly what we do. After we are done with the live, we post the video so that you can go back and watch it from the very beginning if you missed anything. So this is what I encourage you to do as well, is to post that live video so that people can go and watch it. And I guarantee you, you will get a lot more viewers than just what you had live. So maybe even you only had one person show up and watch that virtual open house. Don't be discouraged. Post that live video and I guarantee you'll get views after the fact, okay? So once the video is posted, you can edit the video. You can change the thumbnail and edit the caption. Facebook specifically will pick a thumbnail for you. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you had a weird face or whatever the case is. You can actually go in, hit edit video, pick a new thumbnail, and you can change the caption. I like to do this with Member Focus Monday. For example, I'll say ahead of time, join us this Monday. We're going to be speaking to such and such. But if you go see the video afterwards, it said, on this Member Focus Monday, we were joined by. So I go ahead and make it past tense. So this is another little tip, a little extra thing that you can do so that your viewers don't think you're still live, still in that house and expecting you to answer questions or turn around and show them something, because they might do that. So just some tips there: change the thumbnail and change the caption. And again, post promotion is crucial. So if you went live on Facebook, whether it be your business page or your personal page, go ahead and share the post again, right? If you did it on your business page, share it to your personal page. And even just share it again on the business page if that's where you went live, and say, did you miss this? You might see that I do that a lot with Member Focus Monday, because we get most of our views after the fact. So I want to remind people, hey, you may have missed it because you had a meeting or you weren't available or whatever the case was, but it's still here for you to watch. And also link to it on every social media platform that you use. Tell people, I went live in my open house today. Go back and watch it here. And again, provide them the link, make it easy for them to go back and watch. Something else you can do, it's kind of a new feature on Facebook, is they have the watch parties. Jennifer mentioned it in hers, is that she was hosting a watch party. This is something else you can do. I'm back home from my open house. I'm sitting down and I'm going to host a watch party. So I can actually share that video again as a watch party and invite people to go watch it with me, okay? And you might have seen this, Netflix is doing this now, where you can host a Netflix watch party. And it's kind of fun because maybe you invite 10, 15 people to this watch party and we can all comment together, okay? So those are all things that you can do to post promote the virtual open house. I'm going to take a look really quick at questions because I see some popping up, and I want to make sure I answer your questions about this. This is a really important topic. So, all right. Michael asked if I have a favorite gimbal or stabilizer. No, I have a gimbal. There's all different levels to it. I think the one I got was under $100, so really it doesn't have to be some super expensive equipment. And again, you might even just use a selfie stick if that's what's easier for you. But I can take a look, Michael, at the one that I have and give you the model number, but I don't know it offhand. And Marta said she's wondering the same thing. So I will comment after the fact so you guys can see it. Kathy asked, is this being recorded? Yes, it is, so that you guys can go and watch it again after this. Teresa said, this is great information. Thank you. I love this from tomorrow. Thank you, guys. All right. So, great videos, Jennifer and Kat. Curious about realtor signs showing up in the virtual tours. I know that we have rules on that on as far as MLS photos, Deborah. I will check on that for you to see how that works here, because what you're also going to want to do with this video is upload it into the MLS as, you know, if you don't have a listing video, use this as a listing video. It's better than nothing at this point. And consumers want to see it. They're looking on our website. We haven't seen our web traffic go down since this all happened. I bet it's actually probably gone up at this point. But so I would definitely repurpose this and use this as a video for your listing. So I will get that question answered for you, Deborah, and I will comment on that after the fact. Okay. Kevin asked, will virtual open houses ever be posted on HAR via open houses tab? Our team is actually working on this right now, Kevin. So hopefully soon we will have that option. Again, we're going to continue to do Member Focus Monday, and I will continue to bring you the most up-to-date information. So whenever that is available, I will be sure to let you guys know. All right. So Susan asked, how do they go from one location to another and the home so seamlessly? That was actually Claudia, our Director of Video Services. Kat's video was about 20 minutes long, and for this program, Claudia went and kind of cut it down. So that's why that happened. But if you actually go to Kat's page or Jennifer's page, you'll see they are just walking through the home. So, and again, Kat's was actually about 20 minutes long. Okay. Just see a lot of thanks for sharing. All right. A lot of the same questions here. I don't see anything different. A lot of you like the gimbal, so good. Do we need to add our information about our brokerage to the virtual open house? I wouldn't necessarily say you need to add a caption or something like that, but it's kind of standard that at the beginning of every video I see every realtor say, hi, I'm Christina Schaefer with the Houston Association of Realtors, and they say their brokerage information. So you're saying it, it's on your platforms. Hopefully make sure it is if it's not already. So as far as adding a caption to say the brokerage, I don't think that's a requirement, no. Can you have more than one video on the MLS? I need to double check that, Antoinette. I don't believe so. So I will double check that. I could be wrong. Live or pre-recorded video, is there advantage of one over the other? Grace, that's an excellent question. I do recommend live. And again, I know if for some of you this may be the first time you ever do this, so maybe practice a little bit pre-recorded before you go live, just to let the nerves out a little bit. But I would recommend live because that is what the algorithms prefer. Best times to host. Right now, everybody's at home, so you can't really go wrong. But again, it's important to market it ahead of time, let people know when it's happening so that they can schedule, their Netflix viewing around your virtual open house. But ideally, when people are on a normal basis, when people are at work, they may or may not have the opportunity to tune in. So lunch hours are always great if you're doing it during the week. And of course, weekends are always open. But right now, you can't really go wrong. Okay. What are the realtor names from the videos? That was Jennifer Wahab and Kat Robinson. And you can go check out more on their Facebook pages. All right. So how soon will this be recorded? Well, as soon as I stop talking, so which is actually where I'm going. See a lot of thank yous there. So that's really about it as far as the questions. Again, I'll go in and answer, type in some answers to a few other questions that you guys had. Again, I want to remind everyone that today's Member Focus Monday was sponsored by Energy Ogre. I know so many of us are sitting at home. Your kids are home. You're using up a lot of electricity. So be sure to go to their website and check out their savings calculator to find out how much money that you can save with Energy Ogre. Thank you guys for joining this Member Focus Monday. Next Monday, I will have our Director of MLS, Sean Delphine. We will be Skyping on that one too to maintain social distance. So be sure to tune in for that, because a lot of the questions that you guys had about MLS, I'm sure Sean will be able to answer with a little more clarity next Monday. So I will see you all next Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.